Sup YouTube, Psyche here, and today we're continuing the second episode of the Mythbusters series where we come here and we test different myths to see if they are false or true. Today's episode is going to be focusing on Hermit. Hermit is one of the newer hunters in the game if you count over a month old, but a lot of people still struggle with Hermit, and a lot of it has to do with understanding his mechanics, and just understanding these mechanics will go a long way in helping you fight against Hermit so you can finally stop banning such a terrible hunter. I'll try one more time. Dude. Besides that, guys, let's jump right into the first myth. Myth: going into a locker removes polarity. This is something not a lot of people might know, and they'll think that you're stuck with polarity once you have it. No. You can actually go right into a locker and remove it that way. So you don't need to get damaged for it to get removed. You can actually just go right into it, and just like that, you guys see in the top right, it's gone. So there you go. Pretty self-explanatory. Myth: a cipher connected to two other ciphers decodes twice as slow than a cipher connected to only one other cipher. When you guys go against Hermit, or if you're playing Hermit, you will know one of two things will happen when you connect ciphers. Either that cipher is connected to one other cipher, or a cipher is connected to two other ciphers. And I've tested it, and you guys will see here on the left, this is me doing a cipher that's only connected to one other cipher. As you guys can see, it's clearly connected to triple palette, nothing else. And on the right, you will see me doing a cipher in the middle of church. One is going to the back gate side of the map, and the other is going to mid-broken side of the map. And in both situations, it took almost the same amount of time. The difference is only 3 seconds, but basically there is no difference. So myth busted, surprisingly. But a different question arose when I took a look at the cipher progresses. Myth: if connected to two ciphers, half the energy is sent to both compared to only if one was connected. As you guys can see here, this is what it looks like when we decoded one cipher connected to another cipher. Here's what it looks like when we connected two ciphers together and we take a look at the progress of each. One. Check this out. One of them has 70% and the other has 35%. So yes, myth confirmed, but yes, you should still be focusing on only one cipher that's connected, not doing a cipher that's connected to two. Even though the time is the same, it splits your energy in half, and you don't want to be doing that. So make sure you're doing one cipher at a time. Myth: slower decoders don't send as much energy compared to a faster decoder, even if both finish a cipher from the same amount of percents. So for example, from 0 to 100%, if Ford were to do a cipher and if Mind's Eye start a cipher from 0 to 100%, will they both send the same amount of energy to a connected cipher? So on the left we have Mind's Eye, and on the right we have Forward. And even though the time it takes to do a cipher is completely different, if we go ahead and take a look at the cipher progress, both of them are almost exactly the same. Technically Forward is a little bit behind. I don't know why that is, but for all practical purposes, I'm going to say that the difference is almost negligible. And so for that reason, I'm going to say myth busted. No matter how slow you decode, you will still end up sending the same amount of energy. You'll just do it slower. The next myth is a little bit in-depth. So to understand how to do the myth that I'm about to talk about, we need to talk about two other things about Hermit. If you do not play Hermit, you will not know these things, so I want to make them clear. The first question is, can Hermit connect a cipher that's already finished? And in this recording, you guys are going to see that I'm able to do it right before the cipher pops, but once the cipher pops, I can no longer connect it. You'll see why that matters in a second. Here's the second question. If a cipher that was on a connection is finished, the connection remains. This is also true. So if you can't connect a cipher that's already finished, but if you set it up before it's finished, that makes a third question. If a cipher connected to a finished cipher still decreases decode speed, because if you can do it before the cipher pops, but not after, will it still apply a decode debuff on the survivor and send energy to an already completed cipher? So this is how I set this up. I had Mind's Eye right here, do a cipher at middle, and I got it as close as possible to 99.9% so that as little progress goes to the other cipher once I connect it, because I have to connect it first before I finish it. So I do that, and you guys see there's a connection here going from one cipher to the other. The thing is, one of the ciphers is already done, so will this cipher be sending energy to the other one, or is this time going to be now acting as if there was no connection? And I tested it, and I found the time to be 62 seconds, which is about the time that a Mind's Eye should finish a cipher. So no, myth busted, a cipher that's connected to another cipher that's finished will not decrease your decode speed. But this got me thinking. As I was reviewing this footage, I noticed something strange. The cipher that was connected to an already finished cipher still had this electro aura around it. So I was curious, if I didn't already have a polarity, would I still get a polarity from this cipher, even though it doesn't slow down my decode? And so I set up another test where I'm doing this cipher, and then I'm going to go to another cipher after I remove my polarity and see if it already gives me a polarity. And I touched the cipher, and yep, there you go. You do still get a polarity, so it's not completely useless to leave the connections up, even if it's connected to an already completed cipher machine. You'll still get the polarity. You guys just have to be careful if you're playing Hermit, because they won't get it decoded. They won't decode slower. Myth. Flywheel can be used to prevent being stunned by a Hermit. Myth confirmed. So how come this works? How come when you step into one of these circles, or if you flywheel right when it's hit at you, it doesn't stun you afterwards? And the reason is because when you step into these charge effects, it immediately disappears. Even if you use flywheel, it immediately disappears because it detects you're in there, but unlike a cat, it doesn't stay there. It disappears once it detects you're in there, so you won't get stunned afterwards. Myth. Flywheel can be used to prevent gaining polarity. Myth busted. Oddly enough, even though flywheeling into a stun makes it disappear, it doesn't prevent you from gaining polarity. I think I tried to do this once and I thought I messed it up. No, flywheel just doesn't prevent you gaining polarity. Since it's not a status effect, it will not stop you from still gaining polarity. I always thought it was a status effect because it counts as a debuff, but anyway, I guess not, but just so you guys know. Myth. Using flywheel against Hermit when someone else gets hit will prevent the shared damage. Myth confirmed. This is really hard to pull off because not only do you have to see the survivor, you have to also have really good timing and assume the Hermit is actually going to swing. But if you really need to, I suppose you could flywheel against Hermit. Let's say someone's body blocking for you, but you're going to die due to charge damage anyway. You could flywheel the hit on top of someone else and prevent the damage going on top of you. So it is possible, I just wouldn't recommend. Myth. Using Owl against Hermit when someone else gets hit will prevent the shared damage. Myth confirmed. This one works the same way as the flywheel, where it will prevent the damage, but the question is, when would you ever have a use for this? This one actually has more use. Again, really circumstantial, but it does exist. The option exists if you really need it. Myth. A survivor can end Clerk's recording early by using a wand or pocket watch. Myth confirmed. This is actually a really hard counter the Clerk. If there's one survivor, or two survivors I should say, that really hard counter Clerk, it's these two survivors right here and their abilities. The moment you use their ability, they're gone. They cannot be recorded anymore because there's nothing to record. So the recording goes straight back to the Clerk. Really helpful. You don't have to use it like as strategically with illusion. You can just use it as soon as you got recorded and prevent you from being recorded when you're dropping pals. Plus it actually uses up a recording for the Clerk, so that's another benefit. Alright, we covered a lot of stuff so far, and I have one more myth left for you guys, but you guys might want to strap in for this one, because this one's gonna blow your mind crazy. Myth. A survivor can body block Clerk from recording the person doing gates. This one has some backstory to it. A while ago, like about a month ago or 2 months ago, someone by the name of Nubspector on YouTube posted a video saying that you can actually body block a survivor from being recorded on the gate while they're doing the gate. Now you guys might be wondering, how does this even work? Only one person can do the gate at a time. But basically what he did, and I'll leave the link in the description for you guys below if you guys want to watch it yourself. You have to walk up to the gate, press any of the 2 icons in the bottom right, or if you're playing on PC, just press walk or crouch, and then do not move. Have someone else do the gate and you'll be right on top of them, and anytime the clerk tries to record, it focuses on the person standing. This sounds like a dream come true. I mean, this is such a huge annoying problem, and it may be questioned, well, if it works for gates, why aren't they doing it with ciphers? So I decided to take it a step further and do it with ciphers. Since we have footage of people doing it with gates, I was curious, why not let's try it on ciphers first. So here we have Mama. We got Mama helping us out today. You guys will know she appears in some of my Survivor rank matches streams. And we have myself. So, this is a 2-person project here. You can't just do this by yourself. You gotta do it together with someone else. So pretty much, I'm gonna have Mama go ahead and touch the cipher, and she's going to let go of the cipher. Now, pretty much what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go inside of her, and we're going to go ahead and go inside of her, and we're gonna go and do the cipher machine. Now, in theory, now that I'm inside of her, this should prevent me from getting decoded or recorded by the clerk. So I have my alt account over there sitting Stinky. He's going to, or is it Psyche? I don't know who it is, but basically he recorded and I think I got recorded. Now it doesn't really matter because a few times Mama got recorded when she was standing still. Other times I still got recorded when I was doing the cipher. So this wasn't consistent. It's just not consistent. And if it's not consistent, I'm not gonna say confirmed. So I'm gonna say busted on this one. Sorry, Nub Spectre, but this is not consistent because I noticed sometimes it would prioritize me no matter what, whether I'm decoding or whether I'm standing still. Other times it would prioritize Mama, and we actually tried this out in multiple different games, and we restarted even a few times just to see. And sometimes it focused on the person standing still, other times it will focus on one specific player, other times always the person decoding. It made no sense. So I got some more help. Now we got Tay and we got Quinn helping us. One more time. You're gonna touch the cipher. Touch the cipher. You're gonna press walk. And then I'm gonna decode the cipher. You didn't move your joystick at all. Now I'm gonna decode it, and you should be the one who always gets recorded by the clerk. So now I wanted to see, are we going to be able to pull it off? Is there a priority here? And the answer is, well, not really. I mean, sometimes the one survivor had priority over the other. Sometimes, the survivor just always got recorded over the other. Sometimes there was a priority over the other person. Sometimes it always targeted the person standing. Other times it targeted the person doing the gate, no matter what. I thought maybe there was a number system where the survivors in the top would be numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. But that wasn't the case either. Because no matter what, sometimes it always prioritized the person who's number 3 over the number 1 survivor. Or sometimes it focused the number 1 survivor over the number 3. So there is no priority here. It just switches. It's just depending on the game. That's just what happens. There really wasn't no good explanation for this. But thankfully, we have one more thing to test. We can still test it out on gates. So if it didn't work on Cypher, surely it worked on gates, right? No, it didn't. Again, sometimes it focused on one person, so you would have to switch with the other person and then be able to just stand there, just like with the cipher machine. So I'm gonna say myth busted to this one. Again, if you guys find some way to make this consistent, I'll be more than happy to see it. But in my test, we did exactly what we need to do. It's just not consistent. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. That will be all for today. I hope you guys learned something you took away from this and you're going to use it to your advantage so that you can become one of the best any EU survivors or just any survivor in general. And just being one of the best in the game using these small tips that go a very long way. With that being said, guys, thank you all so much for watching this video, and special thanks to Mama and everyone else who helped make this video. Recommend more myths in the comment section below. I will be recording them in my notes. Take care, guys. This has been Psyche.